Welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory, episode 8, I believe, right? 8? We on? Indeed, we are on 8. I had to go verify that real quick. Anyways, welcome back, and today we are continuing from all of the generators that we built over in the oil field over there, but we came back over here at one point. I was live streaming yesterday, and I have added encased beams and wet concrete processing, and that's what this little building is here. We've got 3 fully overclocked assemblers pumping out steel encased beams, and then I've got my encased beams, my steel beams, and steel pipe? Yeah, steel pipe. I don't know why I could not think of that. I'm looking at all 3, but we've got them coming into the building here, what I'm now dubbing the Death Star of the starter base. And we've got them coming in right here. They come up one of the pillars over there. We've got some quick wire that I've got to tube into as well. We've got them going into the storage room below. But we did this because manufacturers. Yes, we have built our first 3 manufacturers here on the Death Star. And basically, we are building heavy modular frames for the first 3. So let's take a look at what we got here. We just got our 3 here. I have not done their outputs yet. As you can see, kind of reworked this whole area. If you recall before, it was kind of the larger platforms here above, down here, and this kind of the way the base is turning out great, actually, because things are just kind of working. Initially, I was planning on building all in this area, but with the glass roof, I was kind of like, you know, we've got all this room for manufacturers. Again, the goal of the Death Star is more of a glorified starter room and larger base for all game. I'm not going to say end game items, but all game items that you would need to build across the world. So as of right now, it's not really my goal to build some crazy high output bases, if you will, to achieve X amount input outputs, etc. So we've got heavy frames, heavy modular frame. We are using an alternate recipe which uses rubber instead of, I think, what's the original uses encased beams and those steel pipes that I could not name earlier for the freaking life of me. But basically, this recipe calls on a crap load of screws. So if you've got 104 times 3, you only have 500 screws on a 780 line coming in. Technically, you can't get that amount of screws coming in and make these machines run as efficiently as possible. So I had to do a little bit of a buffering here with the storage bin, and then basically you've got one line going in feeding the first 2, and then I've got an overflow coming just after the first one that kind of buffers between the last 2. This way you can actually get that full ppm requirement going down a 780 line and get those screws in there fast enough for those things to run efficiently. So basically now we're on the milestone where we need to, as you can see, we really need to get what the hell those are even called. The next heavy modular frame, I guess. That's super reinforced heavy modular frame. What are these guys called? Fused modular frames, that's right. So, fused modular frames. With that being said, all of your long-winded intro here talks has led up to letting everybody know that we need nitrogen. Nitrogen is a new item in the game, which I have not even played with yet. I have an idea, I guess, of how it will work. I guess you use these resource wells and you pressurize it, and then you can use it and use pipes to basically bring it to and from. And from what I understand, it doesn't work the same as fluid. It just travels in the pipes, so it doesn't have like any slushing effect or anything of that nature. If I recall correctly, Wolf was kind of working on that yesterday while I was live, and he was saying that there was one, I believe, up here in the Red Forest. Not mistaken. We'll wait for that ping to come back here.
A few moments later.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Oh, hey, there we go. Cool. So way over here, I mean, that's not horrible, really, when we look... Oh, there's one over there, too, huh? Why has that one got nitrogen gas? This one actually says the difference in... Interesting. Why does that one actually show pure, normal, pure? Huh. I've not seen that before on a resource, but we've got nitrogen way over there on the coast, so... What I'm thinking is we need to do aluminum too, so we need to go back over to aluminum and get the aluminum casings going, because we never actually put those into production. So that'll be pretty easy. So I think we're going to go over and we're going to take care of the aluminum casings real quick, upstairs on the top floor there, and maybe even finish my nice LED screen that goes across there. This way we've got the aluminum production going on, and then I believe it just makes a lot of sense since really it's, can I pull these up? What was it, fused? Yeah, I can actually. Okay, cool. Yeah, so heavy modular frames, steel or aluminum casings, and then nitrogen. So we're making the modular frames here, and I really didn't want to export anything from the Death Star. I would rather have everything importing to the Death Star and then being manufactured here. So it obviously requires, well, this has got to be a blender actually, because nitrogen gas is a pipe, right? So that's going to be a blender for this recipe. Because we've got pipes and yep, it is right there. So yeah, we're gonna, oh man, I don't know if I want to build these blenders here for, wow, I gotta think about that. I've got to think about that because these boys are okay. So yeah, let's go over there. Let's get the aluminum casings out of the way because those are just going to be constructors, no big deal there. And then we'll go from there. Okay, I just had to share this right here, but longest time I was looking at the facade of my building. I really thought there were different colors, and I'm like, no. Looking at it, is foundation rotated. Okay, that this is towards the back, darker. Whole front right here, lighter colors, and what the heck is going on, man? The longest time I really thought I was seeing things. Yeah, let's fix it. Okay, much better. So, let's now go inside, because there's more here. We'll just... Alright, sweet. Look at all this room we have to work. Okay, I'm really not sure what happened to my recording on the last one, but I realized that I did not freaking record. So, we have all this space up here. Went ahead and plopped down a blueprint. We've got our 8 constructors here. So we've got 8 constructors now essentially making our aluminum casings. And it's slowly trickling in here from the aluminum scrap. Got backed up downstairs with the aluminum solution, and so production had to actually stop. So I just flushed the tank after realizing that. But real quick, there was a quick bit that I had shown just before where I was talking about these being different colors, and I went to go tell you guys that basically there's 2 different sides to this piece here. So if you look at this, you've got this little square right here. There's like a lighter cement color on this side where the square is, and then there's this darker side. So initially these were like flipped around, so I didn't have that dark facade happening. So I was like, what the hell is that? So anyways, that was that. Just wanted to clarify just in case you were wondering or not. We're gonna, because I lost a little bit of recording and I have to re-record this, basically for those machines upstairs, I plumbed them into a single merging line, and then I brought it down to a storage where we are now loading it here at the station. And this train is currently going back and forth from the ICCQ metals. So we've got our copper up front, we've got our coal up front, which is currently empty. So you've got copper and coal, which are being exported here to get our alumina scrap production going. And then we will be exporting from the aluminum facility the aluminum casting and our aluminum sheets. So I went ahead and I got the train set up for that. What I did not do is I do not have it going to the main base. Wolf didn't like that I called this the Death Star. It's not quote-unquote round enough, which, you know, he's not wrong, but the facade gives me Imperial style, so I don't know. Anybody got a suggestion? Let's hear them. Anyways, there goes the ICCQ train now. I'm just curious. Ooh, coal's looking a little low, so I'm gonna need to go and check that out. I think we've got a coal supply issue at the ICCQ, so we'll go check that out real quick, and then I will show you what else we have been working on. Alright, so we're over here at the coal ICCQ, and I went ahead and threw 2 power shards in here, so that gives us 240 on here, but we are definitely not producing enough coal to fill up this cart by the time the train is getting here. So let's finish this milestone, because we're going to get Mach 3 miners after we finish this milestone. I think that's going to be the next best approach to complete. So we're going to go ahead and grab a train and go chew down the track. Alright, so now that we've gone chew down the track a little bit, we are back at the base here, and we are coming up on the other corner pillar by the 2 train stations. And you might notice that we've got a new gantry going on. This new gantry goes out to the north fields. Oh, nah. Oh, I made it. Wow. Woo. This new gantry goes out to the north fields where we are collecting our nitrogen for the first time. So let's run this whole thing real quick, and I'll just time lapse it. So this is, I've got about the middle ground. I was just kind of working on design and how the pipes were going to move over that node there, just in case we use that copper node at some point. Make sure that the miner wasn't interrupting it, but as you can see, this is about as far as I got. The gantry does go all the way back over to the nitrogen node though, and the nitrogen node is all set, primed, and ready to go. We just got to finish running these pipes. So let's go check out the node real quick, and then we will run these pipes. Alright, so we got 2 storage buffers here, and that's because we've got 7 nodes total down there. Well, 1 node, and then you've got the 7 wells, if you will. So this is what we did down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you got 3 on the left, which are, I believe they're all 180 lines. So 180, that's 580 total in this left pipe set, and then you've got 3 180s and a 90 back there. So this is like 600 is the cap, obviously, for piping. The good thing about nitrogen is, if you haven't worked with it before, is that it's not a fluid, so it does not need pumps or anything of that nature. It just freely flows through the pipes. I think the animation's pretty cool how they did this. Kind of just shows what's going on there, and then kind of looking in there, that little fog effect. So let's finish running this over there. Actually, let's get these fuse cubes going, because I just want to get this milestone done to get that Mach 3 miner. So we're going to do that real quick, and then we're going to finish the gantry. Okay, I completely realized that after I got done making the fuse cubes, I deleted everything and kind of forgot to update you guys. So yeah, we did do the fuse cubes. As you can see, the milestone's done because Wolf went back and took care of that for us. So now I'm gonna head back, and we're gonna take a look at what we need to do next, because if we look at the milestones, turbo motors are needed for Mach 3 miners, and then obviously we've got those fuse cubes now as well, so we can also automate those. But we're going to need heat sinks, we're going to need batteries, and a couple other things. So what I'm thinking right now is getting batteries produced, but if I recall right, we need rubber and plastic, and I was over at the oil fields redoing that whole area, so we might just go back over there and continue modifying and improving that area as we kind of move forward, because I don't really want to run blenders over here at the main base. So what I'm thinking is there's a certain amount of materials that we can utilize the drones for to come in and out of the main base here, and minimize the amount of manufacturers and geez, come on. Apparently there's power only so far on this gantry here. Anyways, minimize the amount of machinery that we put up top and have coming in and out. Because again, I only want the starter or main base, quote unquote, to be parts coming in, not really parts going out. Now, if I have to send some parts out via drone, that's different because the way I designed the top of the base, there's plenty of room for drone ports. So I think that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're gonna pull over down here, and we are going to build a couple large-scale items. It'd be nice to do it where we have some power, but it's okay. I don't need that. I can use the jetpack. So let's take a look here. If we pull out, I'm pretty sure we need a blender, a refinery, and an assembler. I'll show you what the assembler's for in a second. So if you've got turbo motors. So yeah, okay, so turbo motors, cooling systems, which is heatsink and rubber, and then you need water and the nitrogen gas. So we just came back from the nitrogen gas. We have the nitrogen gas. Water's not really a big deal if we look on the outside of the map, so the oil field's plentiful of that. But then again, the aluminum factory, where heat sinks could potentially be made, is already there, and then I could drone in rubber, so that's an option. If we come over to radio-controlled units, we need aluminum casings, the radio, whatever the hell that thing is, I forget what, the oscillator, crystal oscillator, a computer, which I don't have computers going yet, but that's kind of easy and kind of quick. I could really do that with manufacturers really fast. And then what is that? What is that piece there? Oh, that is the radio control unit. Jeez. Yeah. So and then we have an alternate recipe where. Okay, so that's 3.5 per minute, and then 2.5. So computers versus. Okay, that alternate recipe is actually better, because then I don't have to really worry about crystal oscillators. That takes out a step completely, and I could just use the produced quartz. Oh yeah, definitely. So we're definitely going to go for that and then manufacture. So we could drone in heat sinks, and we've already got crystals too. And I was shipping them in on a train, but I had a logistics issue with the ICCQ, so I had to change one of the cars on there. So I could still train in crystals, but now that we're going to go for drones, so I'm thinking we do drones first, because it's going to give us more options. So if we look at this is what we just did over there. We just built this to get to the milestone, but cooling system, so we were just looking at that. Heatsink, what do we need here with the heatsink? So we've got an alternate recipe. Excuse me. So aluminum casings and rubber. And this is, okay, this is why. So I'm seeing a decent amount of rubber, not a horrible amount, but a decent amount of rubber needed to make the next couple parts that we need here. And then batteries. So okay, so yeah, that's right. So, and I've got we've got sulfur going over to the oil field as well, which we need to make sulfuric acid. And then the alumina solution, we've got plentiful really at the aluminum factory right now. So really, I could make the sulfuric acid and then train that into the aluminum facility, and then we could build the batteries in the back end of the aluminum facility, and there's water back there as well. So that could be the idea for that. Sulfuric acid. One second, I'm just recording here. So that was Wolf. He popped in. You guys can't hear him. I have Discord muted for you, but yeah. And then okay, so and we already looked at radio. Okay, so yeah, ultimately we've got, that's some manufacturing stuff we've got going on there, right? And then let's look at so this is our cooling system. We just looked at that. We looked at these and batteries. So we're looking at blenders for the next 3 parts really. The only other thing, I think that sulfuric acid was why I was looking at the refinery. Otherwise, I don't think there's a need otherwise for a refinery. And then turbo motor. What did I say? We just looked at that, didn't we? We did. What did we say? So that needs the base of the 3, which we already have this. We already have rubber. It's the radio control unit, right? Okay, so yeah, we're really working on right now, I think, to cover our bases. We're looking at working on aluminum, aluminum heat sinks, which we're going to use this recipe. And then we're also going to need to work on, I thought the CPU was part of this, but I guess it's not. No, it's a manufacturer, huh? Let's take a look. Is it a manufacturer? It's a big boy. It's a big boy. It's a big, oh yeah, high-speed connectors. Yep. Okay. Boy, oh boy. Okay, so we've got quick wire coming up. We don't have silica coming in. What is our difference here? 3 per minute. It's faster to look at it this way. High-speed connector, there we go. We got our alternate recipes right here. So 3 per minute, or their original recipe. This doesn't seem better to me. You get 2. I wonder if that actually reflects per minute. So is that 3 per minute? Is that 3, 2? So is that 6? Really? I'm confused by the way it says that. I mean, this makes sense. It's 1 to 3.5 per minute, so you get 3.5. Obviously, this is going to take longer. I don't feel like I have enough silica. However, we could break down raw quartz into silica just to produce this, but I don't want to do that at the main base. So, alright, a little bit of thinking here, but I believe the next area we're going to work on just to optimize, let's go back over to the oil field and let's start working on the reconstruction of the oil field, mainly so that we can get the sulfuric acid going, which will then put us back at the aluminum base, which will then get us into battery production, which will then give us drones, which will then give us the options we're seeking to bring materials in and out of this base here and other bases across the map. So yeah, let's go do that. So back on the oil field, got our Jennies over there, and we've got our old production of where we started initially. So we've got our, looks like our plastics, or actually this would be rubber, coming in from crude oil, and then converting the heavy residue for oil, plastics, going into these 2 bins here, and then any excess overflow so the system stays running goes into the awesome sink there, which has been generating tickets forever. Stations here, and then now what I've done was, since we built our generators, we got this platform, we got like a nice design going. I extended this over, and I basically got picky with it, so it's about 10 blocks this way and 10 blocks that way. And what I'm gonna do is, this is gonna become the rail system here in the center. The rail system will come up into the center here, and everything will load and unload that we've got going on here. So we will be moving quite a bit of stuff, and I may or may not do the rail system depending, because we've got an overhang of the oil processing and turbo fuel over there on the back, and it kind of does protrude to this centerpiece, but I think there's enough room, so that's something to figure out. But first things first, let's get our old factory moved into the new aesthetic, which I started over here. So we're going to start that, and I'm going to expand it just a little bit because I have pumped up this oil node here to 300 per minute. So we should be able to handle 8 refineries there for rubber coming out. And that should give us enough excess heavy residue to get our plastics that we want as well. I believe we've got 7 going on there right now. Yeah, it looks like 7, and Wolf was using 1 at the end there. I'll have to do my math and figure it out here, but we'll try to optimize it the best we can. Slow production for right now. We're not pumping out anything crazy like 1200 per minute or anything of that nature. Not necessary at the moment, but might be later, so we'll have to really figure this out. I've got another oil node back over there that's not even tapped, so this is going to be an expandable system as I need it, and we'll kind of go from there. So let's get all this moved out. All right, this has been a very long remodel. I've been at this all day, at least a solid 6-7 hours of gameplay here. So we've added another train station in that is not in use at the moment. We've got our other 2 trains going. We've got 3 coming in total, 2 going back out to the main track. Service train gets to hang out in the center track. Station A and B are currently in use and plumbed up. Everything is running pretty nice. We've got our rubber and plastic, which dumps into our fuel, and I tried to do some black powder over here, but we do need coal. Apparently petroleum coke is not acceptable, so I do have some petroleum coke being made, but it's just going right into the awesome sinks, and then I'm dumping some packaged fuel into the awesome sinks as well. just to keep the heavy fuel residue going. Got our packaging back here. This is where we will be making our black powder once I get the coal over here, which I think I'm just going to go ahead and use drones for that to bring that in. And then a lot of nice belt work here. Got our loaders and buffers for the train station above. They're still filling, so they're not even full. And then we've got our inbound sulfur here for the turbo fuel. So I believe, no, not I believe, I am definitely done for the evening. With that being said, please make sure you guys like, subscribe, all that good shit, stuff, things. Sorry, YouTube. Peace.